So I'm wondering, have there been moments in your conversations with your parents where you've sort of thrown your hands up and said, I can't do this, or I have to walk away?
Yes. And moments in the plural, for sure. The key, I think, is that it's about the heat that has built up in that moment and in that conversation. And what I like to say is that heat in a conversation of disagreement is good. It's really good. The friction it generates can be fantastic for what you can learn and understand and illuminate. The difference is whether you're cooking something or burning something. So there are times when I feel the burn. I need a break. I need to step away. I can say, I'm getting really upset. Let's talk about something else. It's usually not so scripted. It's usually more of a, and then, just pass the salt. And then there's some time, and then maybe we can come back to it immediately or next week or maybe in a couple of months.
And what brings you back to those conversations even after they've gotten difficult?
Curiosity.
Yeah.
I'm usually left with questions if it's about me. If it's about them, I think that's often the case as well. And sometimes the question begins with, but how could you? But how could you believe this? And it's about where the emphasis is in my brain and in my heart. If it's, how could you believe this, as sort of a confounding yell in my brain, that's not as good. That's not a sign that I'm ready. It's more, wait, no, how could you believe this? Actually explain it to me. I'm ready to receive that. When I feel I'm ready to receive it, that's when I can have a genuinely curious conversation where I'm not so fired up that something will burn too fast.
Before writing this book, you were a journalist working in that daily news cycle. And I'm wondering how that experience has informed not only this book, but also this quest that you're on to help people maintain relationships despite their political differences.
I mean, the number one thing about being a journalist that it taught me is even when you think you know people, you have no idea. All the times that I would come into an interview thinking I knew what the story was, and I just needed to collect the quotes and get back to my desk and get the story written that was due yesterday. But then you're in the presence of people, and you're hearing their stories, and you're connecting with the fact that your job is to try to understand their story and tell them as responsibly as you can to their community, and that's important, and you better get them right. So change your story. Accommodate what's going on. Don't just assimilate it into the story you already put them in. That's not it. So that has led me to look at lots of people that way, that if I think I know them, I have no idea. There are more questions to ask.
That's the one thing I love about my job, right? People are constantly surprising me. It doesn't matter the topic. I'm always surprised. It's wonderful. It keeps me going.
Exactly. It's so fueling, really, right? Even when you learn, like sometimes you're learning things that are very deeply uncomfortable, but there's something about the discovery and the ability to surprise yourself. It's, I don't know, makes me feel alive, if you will.